All right, it says that I am live. Audience, tell me if I am audible, because that would be step one, making sure this goes off without a hitch. Also, if anyone wants to join this stream, send me a message on Twitter, at me on Twitter. I'll send you an invite to this stream, and then we will go from there. Someone already wants a link. Oh, great. I am audible. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Right. All right. Astronomy Live will be joining. Oh, and AT2 Productions will be joining. Again, if anyone else wants to join, you are more than welcome. So you just have to at me on Twitter, and I'm going to check my my tweets here, making sure that if you reply, just at me on Twitter, and then I'll send you a invite, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, so let me just bring this up. Okay. All right, and let me go ahead and give the reason for this after show is because I apologize, but it wasn't actually my stream. I was actually having Astronomy Live rebroadcast the stream onto my channel because I didn't really trust them to preserve the original stream in its entirety. So I have a copy of it. Excellent. Oh, Astronomy Live, welcome. Welcome to the after show of that cataclysmic dumpster fire where apparently you make cartoons.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe that. He went full CGI with it. CGI, man. It's fake telescope stuff, man. It's all fake. Incredible. Incredible. I seriously, I dropped a comment in his chat. I said I expect the heat death of the universe to happen sooner than him following through on his promise on that. There's no way he follows through on his promise on that. I'll say it right now. He's going to be the next Russian vids.
You mean the guy that, yeah, because you like that part where I said, okay, you come down to Florida and we'll go ahead and observe Mars right in front of you with that same telescope. And you will be amazed to see that what we get from that telescope with you right there is going to match what Astronomy Live shared on Twitter. And he's like, all right, yeah, but it's CGI. But if that happens, you will apologize, right? Oh, of course I would. And you will admit that your claim to no CGI when you see it is complete bullshit, right? That's when he got a little bit butthurt and didn't answer that question, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he started dodging at that point, and you're absolutely right. There's no way he would do it. I would love for him to. Mars is great right now. It's in season. We're just past opposition. Looks great in the telescopes. And by the way, that footage that you shared there, that was not shot with an astronomical CCD camera. It's not like they pre-programmed this thing to show me what it showed me. In fact, when I bought it, nobody who manufactured it expected it to be used in the way that I used it. That is just a modified security camera. And by modified, I mean I ripped out the infrared blocking filter on it to make it more sensitive to infrared light. But that is otherwise a bog standard Samsung SDC 435 security camera that I've adapted to use with the telescope. And at the time that I bought that, nobody was even using these things for astronomy. I thought, hey, this thing's really sensitive. It's got a really good lux rating. Let's try it out. And, you know, it worked as a decent, low-cost camera for that purpose. And it does a decent job capturing things like bright objects like planets. So that's what I used to record that time lapse. Yeah, it was definitely not programmed to magically know that I was plugging it into a telescope. There's no communication between it and the telescope anyway, let alone that it was pointed at Mars and to show that beautiful image of the rotating sphere that is Mars. So yeah, that's a load of hogwash. But he knows how damaging that footage is to his claims and his beliefs. That hey, if Mars is real and it's rotating on its axis like that, we got a problem here, guys. Why is Earth different, right? They don't it's like they always say, well, we don't believe that Earth is just somehow the weird one out of a bunch of normal looking planets, because they don't believe the planets are really there looking like NASA says they are. So when they're presented with, beautiful footage like that showing that yes, it is, they have to claim CGI. And so there's no way he shows up to actually see it. I mean, I can pull the camera out of it and just show him in the eyepiece. He can lie about what he sees in the eyepiece, but he can't lie about what the camera ends up recording. And he can't show anything that would indicate that I'm faking an image. Like if he were here, he could examine all the equipment himself. We can even pop the front corrector plate off for him and let him
Yeah.
look in the inside of the telescope tube. I've done it a couple times before. There's nothing in there to project an image. It's
Yep.
just mirrors and glass.
How about that mod of his in his live chat?
Oh, which one? Which one? The one that claimed to be
The
an
supposed
optical
optical. Yeah.
Yeah, that was wonderful, right? Yeah. Oh, I worked in an optical lab, so I know that they, manufacture these things to make fake images. Oh, you worked in an optical lab, did you? And then they asked me, well, what kind of, lens did you use? I said, well, I already told you I used a Schmidt-Cassegrain. If you're an optical expert, you should know what that means. That's pretty fundamental right there. Here's the specs.
It's just like it's just like flat earthers being quote unquote commercial pilots when they only have a single engine rating.
Oh, it's like a flat earther claiming to be a airline pilot, and you tell him that you flew a 737, and he asks you what shape is a 737. Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you just torpedoed your own credibility there, didn't you? So yeah, have fun with that. One quick side note here, just a side note on the stream that we mirrored on your channel here. I just want to apologize again for the audio situation. I was doing everything I could to try to compensate for what he was doing to your audio. Red, when you play it back, you'll hear, like, especially when you did that one thing where you got up real close to the mic. I noticed he turned your audio way down at that point. It was already kind of lower than his, but he seemed to turn it down even more after that.
No,
So
I knew that's what he was most likely going to do, and there's no way that I could have fixed that because I don't have access to his control panel.
Right.
So I do want to say just right off the top, and I gotta apologize for something, but also give kudos for something. Astronomy Live, thank you very much for doing that. I understand that was a pain in the ass, and I know for a fact that you have a desk with a crater in its surface due to you smacking your head against it really, really fucking hard multiple times over. I'm sorry for the concussion that you most likely have, but thank you for being a trooper, going through that shit like a fucking champ, and helping my audio situation, trying to compensate for that disingenuous fuck trying to fuck with my audio like that. I really do appreciate it. And I also have to apologize for the people that super chatted in the original stream. I wasn't able to read them because I was trying to follow his conversation, so I wasn't in the live chat. I do apologize, but I'll do my best to read the super chats that are in this stream. And on my next live stream, whenever that is, I will look over the super chats and I will answer and reply to them there so that your money did not go to waste. I do apologize I wasn't able to get to it in real time, but I will make it up to you later on in the next stream. So again, I do apologize for that. Speaking of which, let me just get to these real quick. $4 or $5 says Joe. Says it's a Joe Breezy Jr. Love that name. $5. Awesome stream. That dude didn't understand anything. LOL. Believe me, I fucking know. Holy shit. And another one for $5. Doug says, we are only going to go by things we can 100% prove. And then he immediately goes off the rails like a fruit cake. Exactly. Only go by things we can 100% prove. And then he brings up the fucking dome.
Oh, and the planetarium. Which I just want to say, if you try to do astrometry with a planetarium, you're never going to even be able to create the astrometric catalog in the first place. It won't work as a technique in a planetarium. If you're sitting on one side, I know because I guess an admission here in college, I operated a planetarium. That was my college job. One of my tasks there was to operate a planetarium. Yeah, a nerd. But if you're sitting on one side of the planetarium, the constellations on that side of the planetarium are going to have a bigger angular size than the constellations on the opposite side of the dome. And if you're sitting on the opposite side of the dome, guess what? The angular size of the constellations on the opposite side are going to look different. Think of it like this. Not only if we lived on a flat Earth would the sun necessarily need to change in angular size of the course of the day, so would the constellations. You would never even be able to create an astrometric catalog because you would never get consistent results on the separation between the stars. It wouldn't work fundamentally. So right off the bat, we can say, yeah, the stars are not local and close.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
go
wondering,
ahead.
what does everyone think the over-under is on that guy having actually passed a math class after 5th grade?
I'm like, well, honestly, when he took that major rip of that bong, I was like, yep, I know exactly where this shit's going.
Here's the thing. There are people who smoke that aren't absolute dipshits.
Correct, but here's the thing. It makes a bad situation worse, especially when you're that level of doofus. Here's the thing. I know people that can get absolutely ripped on a bong, but still are able to form a coherent thought after the fact. He can't form a coherent thought not being on anything. Being completely fucking sober, that dude would struggle. And when you add, like, I don't know, alcohol or pot or whatever into the equation, oh, you're totally fucking fucked. And given the fact that before he took that major ripper, he was already struggling to truly grasp the concepts I was putting forward. Yeah, basically, you got what you paid for on that front. Especially when I had to break out the fucking crayons to describe the position of stars and shit. Go ahead, Astronomy.
Well, I was just gonna say you were never even allowed to get to the point where you would explain the fact that the reason we're able to measure the distance to these objects is because the known value he kept rambling about. Not only is it the astrometry, but then at the next step, it's the baseline. We know how far apart we were. Like with ISS. I mean, with the ISS observation, you could almost walk that with like a stick and measure the distance. It's not that far.
Yep. I told him it was, I think I actually said the distance, 750 meters. I said that out loud. But yeah, I didn't get into the baseline. That part, I think I skipped over that part by accident, of course, but this was all to be over.
In your defense, he never even let you finish.
I constantly having to reset my fucking train of thought on this asshole because he wouldn't let me fucking finish. So I'll go ahead and use that. But here's the thing, and I saw someone sent this to me in a DM. Thank you, person who shall remain unnamed. But somebody in my previous live chat said you revealed a video that you're working on, such as measuring the distance of the sun, on this fucking clown, and I was like, yeah. So the cat's out of the bag. Myself and Astronomy Live, we measured the distance to Mars, which means we're going to measure the distance to the sun. Yes, we're doing that video. Spoiler, sorry.
Yeah, I thought that was a very appropriate comment there. Yeah, not sure this guy was worth it, but I
really wasn't.
Why you did that?
He really wasn't, but I wanted to illustrate that I wasn't just talking out of my ass. I actually drove thousands of fucking miles across the fucking country to make this measurement.
Nowhere.
I went to the middle of bumfuck Egypt, thousands of miles away from Florida, because someone was fucking wrong on the internet.
And somehow you managed to talk me into letting you borrow one of my very nice and very expensive telescopes. I still don't know how you managed to do that.
Yeah, I did. And I was able to do that. And especially with you driving the passenger seat, you see me drifting around these fucking corners with a front wheel drive car. Yeah, that was not smart on your part, but thanks for letting me borrow it. It came in handy.
Well, speaking of handy, your wrist work has gotten better, Reds, isn't it? That's why he let it happen.
Dude, you should see us shampoo together. Anyway.
And with that, I really do need to log off.
Okay, peace out, Shine Your Light.
All right, see you later.
Yeah, so I do want to say that yes, we did the observation, we made the measurements, and surprise to absolutely fucking no one, we were able to get a value that completely coincides with the accepted heliocentric model from the nameless, faceless they. And we didn't ask for NASA's fucking permission to make this observation. And also, there's a few people that will be able to confirm they actually did this, because I was able to stop over at their places along the way to avoid paying for a hotel because I'm a cheap fuck. But also, yes, I did drive like fucking 18 hours straight, which is not smart. Don't do that. And also, Kansas is my least favorite state now because it never fucking ends. It just keeps going and going.
Now you know why the people from there are a special kind of tapped.
Yeah. So anyway, but yes, we did the observation. But I brought that up so that I could show to him that, yes, this shit's possible. And you can do this shit with equipment that, yes, may be expensive, but not to the extent that it's inaccessible. And also, if you are the type of person to just get your head out of your ass for all of, I don't know, 15 minutes and accept that you can rent time on telescopes all over the planet and that they're not feeding you real-time CGI, you can make that measurement without leaving the comfort of your home. But the reason why we didn't do that is because, well, a flat earther will say, but you didn't personally, do the driving. You didn't drive the distance. You didn't personally operate the scope on both ends or some shit like that. So I had Astronomy Live in Florida, myself in Colorado, and we did that observation. We did that. And again, I will be making the video. We're still, putting the video together. This is a big fucking project. We've actually been working on it for a couple of months now, but I do want to let people know that that video will be coming out. Don't know when, because I don't want to rush this. I want to make sure that it's that's perfect and up to my standards kind of thing. But we did do it. But 82 question: who was the special individual that you were talking about that was in his live chat?
Oh, one of his moderators. After he made the claim of what Astronomy Live did, getting that beautiful time lapse of Mars, and he claimed it was just CGI and it was a cartoon. One of his moderators claimed to have a long history working in an optical lab, so they know how lenses work and how they can make adjust things so it looks like it's 2020 on one side but not on the other. To which that's when Astronomy Live asked, it's like, oh really? Then how does this telescope, the telescope I used, manage to do that? How does that telescope manage to make that image?
That's the thing. I hate when people claim a certain level of expertise when it's clear that they don't have the credentials. Like, for example, when Bob said that he was a commercial pilot or some shit like that, and then Wolfie, actually being a commercial pilot, was able to go on publicly accessible registries that, of course, he would know how to access, being a pilot at all, and he was able to double check that fucking claim of Bob being a commercial pilot. Come to find out, the dude only has a single engine rating and what was the I'm going off memory, so maybe this isn't entirely right.
It was private, not even commercial.
Yeah, exactly. He was private, not commercial. He made the claim of being commercial. And also, in order to be commercial, you need to have like medical physical exams every so often. And he didn't have one within the time frame that would have allowed him to be a commercial pilot in the fucking first place. So right there, it was clear that he was full of shit. So in the same breath, you have to ask yourself, okay, these guys who claim to be, experts when it comes to optics, you just have to ask them one question that would be pertinent to people that understand optics. Like, I don't know, astronomers who use that shit all the fucking time. So it's like, oh, what kind of lens do you use? I use the Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope. And the very moment they start drooling from the corner of their mouth, yeah, you know that they were full of shit the entire time. Also, Joe Breezy Jr., $10, says, I think all of you debaters should take a page from you and Professor Dave and just continue making fun of and making fun of flat earthers. I honestly don't know how you do it. It would drive me crazy. Okay, so Joe, I'm going to answer that question directly. You have to start off by hating yourself. You know, self-hate really goes a long way. You have to say that I did something terrible in my past life. You know, I murdered a bunch of puppies, for example. I always go to puppy murder. So I murdered a shit ton of puppies in my past life. And this is my punishment in the next life, having to talk to actual dipshits that don't understand perspective, even though they use that word to literally mean anything that I disagree with is just caused by perspective. And that's my explainer to get rid of the inconvenient fact that curvature is actually observable. So yeah, it all starts with hating yourself. And also, Joe Breezy, call them names. That was supposed to be said. Yes, call them names. Yes, obviously. Making fun of them. Well, at some point when he starts calling people liars and CGI artists or shit like that, what he's saying is that you guys
I'm
are...
ill-equipped to handle this conversation. I must try to shut it down any way possible. I have to poison the well and denigrate the person that I'm talking with because I know absolutely fucking shit about this topic now. Holy fuck, I'm getting exposed. By the way, that's the translation of what that dipshit should have been saying.
82. Did you know you have just the way with words? It's like that
It's a
right
gift.
there was the fucking Mona Lisa. That was fucking, that was word porn. That was spot fucking on. Nah, you don't need Pornhub, you just need AT2 to talk. So moving on, but there's one aspect that I wanted to really highlight with that conversation. And it was brought up in the previous comment that was featured. It was the idea that you should only bring up what you can verify. Bring up the gold standard, he called it. Well, he brought up the dome. And I showed not one, not two, but 3 separate examples of how the dome was not needed in order for there to be a pressure gradient and then a fucking vacuum. He immediately went into the how rather than answering the question of, is it that in the first place? You know, is it that versus how is it that are 2 separate questions. That motherfucker kept bolting the two together as if we were having the same conversation. Because again, it doesn't matter if it's gravity. It doesn't matter if it's magical unicorn farts. It doesn't matter. The fact is that this dude, I'm not going to call him dude, I'm going to call him the motherfucker. This motherfucker said that a dome was required. A physical fucking barrier was required. I showed him that a barrier was not required because we had that very steep drop in atmospheric pressure, as I personally recorded with the Nikon P1000, the flat earther camera of fucking choice. And you saw that rocket go up, and that rocket did not smack into any physical barrier. It didn't. Now, why is that? Why is that?
It rippled.
It rippled as if the stream coming out of a rocket engine is like fucking laminar flow perfect kind of thing. No, it's violent in that bitch. Icy spin, I apologize. Which would you choose? 365 days of 2-hour debates with him or losing your left hand?
I do a lot of things with my right hand already, so tough call.
Yeah. Fuck. Also, Astro Rex is here. Hi, Astro. Man.
fucking blast from the past.
Hey, Jet. I mean, AT2, what's up?
Yeah, doing good. How you been, you fucker?
Been a while.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Do I really need my left hand all that much? Although the removal process would also be important. Would I be knocked down and it'd be surgically removed and I wouldn't feel a fucking thing, or is it just going to be hacked off with an axe? That has to be taken into consideration, because I don't know, that would be pretty fucking traumatizing with all the blood loss and shit. But okay. Fuck.
We have a couple of people already saying, "Well, goodbye, left hand."
Yeah. Okay. So if it was if it was surgically removed, then yeah, take off the left hand. I'm not putting myself through that fucking shit. But if it's with a fucking axe, I might just deal with it, because I don't want to deal with that trauma. That seems fucking horrible. Okay, that's my final answer. So sorry I missed the super chat. $4.99 icy spin. I do appreciate it. Surgically, yes. Non-surgically, I'll deal with that dipshit. Hopefully, maybe, kinda, I can get through to him. Who am I fucking kidding? It'll just be a train wreck for a year straight. But people like that shit, because people like seeing me, do mental fucking damage to myself all the fucking time for their entertainment. So there you go. Anyway, Astro Rex, did you see that shit show? If so, what'd you think about it? Astro. Did we lose him?
No, how's that? Sorry, I was putting my earbuds in.
Ah, there we go. So the question I asked is, did you see that shit show of a debate? And if so, what did you think of it?
It kind of got sad after a while. It really did. He probably might go down the traditional flat Earth route. It's like, I've been in flat Earth. They used to say 4 years. Now they say 5 years. And they're all noobs. Like, this guy ticked every box. You were having two totally different conversations.
Yeah. Here's my opinion on that. I think he knew that if he stuck to the conversation that I was having, he knew that he was going to get fucking owned on that. So he was always trying to pull me along to an entirely different subject to avoid being owned on the original subject. If I never get to the conclusion, he'll never have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But maybe that's giving him too much credit.
No, he knows how to duck and weave. He's that dishonest. I mean, even if he earnestly believes, like he earnestly believes all his other bullshit. You saw his intro.
I did. That was fucking awful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. If that intro's on my video, I'm just gonna cut that shit out.
It is with your logo on it.
No. I missed it. I have to go watch it. Okay, I'm gonna mute for a bit.
Oh God.
Once I saw that intro, I knew it did not bode well.
You got. It's like, as soon as you see that intro, you know the type of person you're going to be talking to. This guy has drank the conspiratard Kool-Aid. He's not only drunk it, dude is going fucking swimming in it after doing a swan dive.
He huffed a tailpipe full of it.
Oh God, it's like chugging the diesel exhaust, but it's all Kool-Aid vapor.
But what comes part and parcel with that is that duck and weave. That's what, even if, like I was saying just before, even if he earnestly believes this stuff, he comes at it from a disingenuousness in his DNA. It springs from that. He may have some kind of epistemological framework where he can find the truth, but he chooses not to use it.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's why he was so ducky and weavy, because every time he brought something else up, or stuck on topic rather, he instinctively started doing the squirming worm.
Well, I figured that was possible, because if you are intellectually honest and you were to follow the conversation, follow the points that I was putting down, the conclusion would be obvious, and that is his bullshit does not, I repeat, does not stand up to scrutiny. What I was putting down was observations that he could do himself. He didn't like the fact that I actually had this shit ready to rock and roll because this isn't my first fucking rodeo. So he had to duck and dodge around what I was legitimately putting forward. Also, Don says Derp could drive to Wallops Island for a launch. I invited him to Florida. And here's the thing. On top of filming Mars, I would take him to Cape Canaveral. Absolutely. And here's the thing, Don. I know for a fact he won't do it. Don Giovanni for $2. Let me tell you something. I could invite that guy. I could allow him to control my kit, and he would have a choice. Does he want the telescope from Astronomy Live, or does he want the Nikon P1000, the flat earther camera of choice, on a telescope mount, in which he can control via joystick? He would be in control of it. He would have the option to choose between the two. You know, choose your weapon, if you will, to film a launch himself. That would be offered to him. I guarantee you, Don, I guarantee you, he would not take us up on that offer, because to do so would be to reveal the truth, and he doesn't want the truth. He only wants whatever is going to conform to his bias. And here's the thing: I have offered such a opportunity to other flat earthers. No one's taken me up on it. Like, what the fuck? I'm literally rolling out the red fucking carpet for these jackasses, and none of them are taking it. So, and here's the thing:
actually want to challenge what they believe is real. They have no interest in actual truth. They want to feel special.
Yep, and this is why, Don, your super chat actually highlights a big problem. They have this opportunity. They have always had this opportunity. And I'm sorry, I love this super chat so much, because the same way that they could drive to a launch, just that act alone would literally put them at the front of the fucking line when it comes to recording that shit with not their equipment, but with ours. Equipment that we spent thousands of dollars on and spent many hours and many sleepless nights perfecting, because that software was made by Astronomy Live. The kit that is together was assembled meticulously so that everything works together perfectly. They wouldn't have to deal with any of the setup, any of the bullshit of lugging that shit around. All they would have to do is to plop their asses into the captain's chair and control the bitch. It will literally be set up for them. And they could actually watch me set it up right in front of them. See that there is actually no connection between the camera and the computer, or the camera and in the scope. The camera is by itself just recording what it sees. Yeah, the telescope mount's doing all the hard work, but as far as the camera is concerned, it doesn't give a shit. So no piping in of CGI on the side or some shit like that. They have this opportunity to go to the front of the line, to see a launch, to film it themselves with thousands of dollars worth of equipment, the best of the fucking best. And none of them decide to go through with it. None of them decide that, hey, this is a pretty sweet fucking deal. I'm going to take them up on their offer. And keep in mind, this isn't like, this isn't amateur shit. We spent a lot of time perfecting our setups. A lot of fucking time perfecting the setups. And if you remember the image that I showed not too long ago, after Artemis 1, we made sure to post not just the video, but also the kit that we used. I actually did it as a reply to a tweet. Let me share the screens right here, which now I am in control of, and he can't fucking hide from it. Check that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
that is orgasmic. I'm just going to say it's fucking orgasmic. So he could go to Cape Canaveral and he would have a choice. Do you want the badass telescope with the Black Magic 4K camera attached? Or do you want my setup, which utilizes a Nikon P1000, the flat earther camera of choice, apparently the only fucking camera that doesn't make real-time CGI? You would have that choice. And you wouldn't have to set any of this up. You wouldn't have to carry it. You wouldn't have to pay for it. You wouldn't have to do any of that shit. You would just need to plop your ass in this chair or this chair, which is slightly cut off from being off screen. But you could choose this chair or that chair and grab the controls and fucking go to town. Like, I'm sure a lot of people would love that opportunity. But I'm only offering it to flat earthers. Because flat earthers, for whatever fucking reason, aren't lining up to take advantage of this deal. And Don, that guy is no different. I made that offer to come down to Florida and to do the observation with Astronomy Live. And he said that, oh, if it turns out to be true and whatever, I'll go ahead and apologize to him. He ain't gonna fucking do that. He ain't doing that because he's a disingenuous piece of shit. Okay, anyway, so I went on a rant long enough about this. Don, thank you so much for your super chat. You brought up a really fucking good point, and it was a point that I just had to go on a fucking rant about because holy fuck. And also, Astro, you were fucking there. You were there. You've seen me at these launches with this exact setup. You've been there. You've seen me. You can vouch for the fact that we were actually there doing this shit actually.
All true. All true.
So,
yeah. Reds gathered quite the crowd.
yeah, boy, do I.
I was like, oh man, look at that. Oh man, especially at night when it's all lit up. And I'm usually on the rise just behind him going, fuck all that light. It's killing my shot.
I mean, it is pretty, RGB-like with all the glowy bits.
Well, and Reds does have to draw the attention away from his face so he doesn't kill anyone. He's already done one term for murder. He doesn't need to do another.
It was an accident. I sneezed and the paper bag came off. Anyway, so
I threw myself into the rocket's plume. Anyway.
Yeah, that's why when you went into the rocket, you lost your left side completely. That's why you're all right now. Anyway, okay. I apologize. I just have to go on this rant one more time and just really, really drive this point home. Is that he's not the only flurf that avoids our equipment and the opportunity to observe like the fucking plague. He isn't the only one. I don't want to give off the impression that he's the only one, but the fact that disingenuous motherfucker, in response to him calling our shit CGI, his response is, oh yeah, sure, I can totally do that. And for a fact that he's not going to hop on a plane, even though we're willing to pay for the fucking ticket and pay for his hotel and shit, because he knows that he would have to hold up his end of the fucking bargain, which is to admit that he was wrong. That's what it comes down to. They would have to admit that they were wrong. They would have to admit that our shit is not CGI, that you can see it through the telescope with just mirrors and glass, no electronics needed, and that when we attach a camera to that same exact telescope, it gets the same fucking image. Imagine that. And it gets it in 4K resolution. Go figure. I mean, the disingenuous fuck. Holy shit.
Well, here's the thing. Their whole position is so fucking paper thin and tenuous that they kind of know that any little chink in their armor, even though all their little explanations and bullshit, does not collect into a greater whole. It cannot work together. Even though it doesn't, they think they've got some kind of cohesion. If they lose a little bit, if they're wrong about one thing, can they be wrong about more things and more things and more things after that?
Yep.
They're terrified. Also, I mean, who remembers the end of Star Trek The Motion Picture when Enterprise was transmitting the access code to V'ger? At the very last second, V'ger burned the connection.
Oh yeah,
You know?
V'ger did the ultimate flurf where he says like, nope, you fucker got to come here. You got to come right
Exactly.
here and do it.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, that show I was just on was a fucking dumpster. Anyway, let me get to the super chat. I want to apologize if I mispronounce your name. Saeed Ahmed, I believe it's pronounced. $4.99. The Flurf used the nuh-uh principle tonight. How sad. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year and happy holidays to you too. Thank you very much for the $4.99. And you're absolutely right. The fucking nuh-uh principle was in overdrive. Not just overdrive. They slapped a turbo on that bitch. Then they gave that shit nitrous. They went ape with the nuh-uh principle. There's like
He
soup
actually
this bitch
said
up.
nuh-uh. He used the word nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Or I marked it in the side chat. He literally just said nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. It's
Yeah, I cannot fucking this is why the question, would you debate this guy for a whole year or lose your fucking arm or stuff? I mean, I'm gonna say depending on the process, you might have a deal on your hands. But it all comes down to this. Nothing that I show him was going to be worth jack because he would dismiss it as CGI. Like you could tell that he was about to call my observation of the International Space Station CGI. And when it came to the Mars observation, the one that Astronomy Live did, he just didn't fucking care anymore and just went for the CGI claim based on absolutely fucking nothing. What happened to only making claims that you can actually back your shit on? What happened? What happened to that rule? Oh, so we're back to the rules for thee but not for me type of shit. Okay, I see how the fuck it is. Like
they don't have they don't have a concept of interconnectedness or self-awareness.
Well, not just that. Flurfs have to go along with their young Earth creationists and pre-sup brethren. They got to be hypocrites. They cannot hold themselves to the standard that they try to hold everyone else to. They're the type of people that live by the motto, if it wasn't for double standards, I would have none at all.
Yeah. Also, I want to highlight a quote here. I honestly believe I should put this shit on a fucking t-shirt and sell it. Oh my fucking god. So the quote is, daylight and daytime are two separate things.
Oh, that's right. He did fucking say that.
No, but he couldn't get into it because that's a whole fucking other universe of bullshit.
It's like, I'm going to need him to break that down because depending on context and definitions, I fucking guess. But just the way he threw that out there was face palm city. We're talking nuclear powered face palm. The quote again, daylight and daytime are two separate things entirely. Again, I'm gonna need him to break that shit down because fuck.
Apparently it was daylight and sunlight are two different things.
I see. Daylight and sunlight are two different things. Thank you. That's worse. That's worse. So thank you for correcting my quote there, Man Devil. I appreciate it.
Here's a question. Here's a question for you. Which quote from recent debates is better? That one, or if it's nighttime, then why can't we see the sunlight when we look out?
Mm-hmm. If it's nighttime on Earth, does that mean it's nighttime on Mars?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Understood. Right. Like, for fuck's sake. So I guess the question is, should I just put that on a fucking t-shirt and along with a picture of some stick figure doing like face palm and it powered by a nuclear reactor or some shit like that?
At least quilt it onto a pillow. I don't know.
I mean,
Something.
that shit could take the paint off a locomotive. Just saying. Anyway, but yeah, that was a really really awful quote, and I'm regretting the fact that I was there to fucking hear it. So, but the last thing that I wanted to open up about is that he seemed to have trouble. I guess I should ask if you believe this was on purpose or is he just that big of a fucking idiot? That he was seriously having trouble understanding astrometry. Like he didn't actually know what the fuck I was talking about when I brought up astrometry.
No,
Like the motherfucker doesn't know that the angular separation between stars has been measured and known and cataloged, and via that catalog we can make parallax measurements.
I think sometime in his formative years he was assaulted with a triangle.
Oof.
Because dude did not want to go into how you can use the fundamentals of a triangle to calculate shit accurately, which is, I don't know, the premise of celestial navigation and getting most of the distances to the other stellar bodies in the solar system.
He said it didn't work outright. I was like, hey, AT2, question. What branch of the military were you in?
Oh, I was in the Navy.
You were in the Navy.
I'm thinking it wasn't a right triangle.
So in the Navy, that if I remember correctly, that has to do a lot with ships and seas and shit, right?
Yeah, I kind of lived on the ocean for a number of years.
Kind of lived on it. And I assume that somewhere in learning about the history of ship navigation because of your time in the Navy, that utilizing the stars was part of that lesson, right?
Yeah, well, not specifically my rate, but in basic training we did touch on basic navigation, and celestial navigation is the way that if the ship goes dead in the water and there's no electricity for the advanced equipment we have now, guess what? Your quartermasters, your navigators can still do celestial navigation even to this day.
So
It's
celestial
kind of
navigation
important.
works. It's almost like, stars and the angles the angles that we measure with their angular separation. All stars have angular separation when compared to other fucking stars in the sky. That can actually be utilized. That shit works. And here's the thing. With astronomers using astrometry, being that the shit's been cataloged, that's literally how they can do parallax measurements with bodies within our own solar system. That's how orbits are fucking solved, for example, when finding asteroids and comets and shit. I know that Astronomy Live was able to track the Orion spacecraft as it was heading to the moon and heading back from the moon. And while doing that observation, he was able to use 2 different telescopes with the iTelescope network. Using parallax, using the background stars, he was able to get a parallax measurement to the Orion spacecraft. And that measurement confirmed that NASA wasn't full of shit. So
didn't Astronomy Live also do his own orbital calculations for both the outbound and inbound transit? And what do you know? He damn near nailed it on where the craft was going to be at what point in the mission.
Yeah, but not only did he nail it, it was also shown that the spacecraft was moving, because he was able to make a prediction, and it would be accurate, like pinpoint accurate for a time, until NASA said, we are going to be using our thrusters in this way, we're going to be making a change to our orbit in that way, whatever the case may be. And right on schedule, the orbit changed. And Astronomy Live was able to see that directly. Now, how was he able to make these measurements? Well, again, he had two telescopes spaced apart by a large distance, which you can do on the iTelescope network. You can do that. You have to pay for that shit. And to the best of my knowledge, it's not exactly free. It ain't cheap, but the option is there for people who want to spend the coin to get the observations and to get those measurements. You know, if you got the money to spend and you don't want to buy a big ass telescope on your own, you can use the iTelescope network. So he used the iTelescope network. He was able to use parallax. He was able to use the background stars astrometry and get these solutions and get the orbits and see the deviations being done in real time, coinciding with what NASA has been saying that they're doing in real fucking time. The dude has his own mapping of the fucking mission. Now, that wouldn't have been possible if astrometry didn't work. And it does. He just doesn't want to, the guy I was unfortunate enough to have a debate with this evening, he just didn't want to accept the fact that it does work. So I had to bring up irrelevant bullshit like the distance to the stars rather than their position in the sky. Fuck. For $9.99. Dougie D. Thank you very much, Dougie. I appreciate it. It's like previous work doesn't count because you didn't do it yourself, and all measurements need to be redone every day for everything, unless it's from the ancients who had true wisdom. Exactly. The confirmation bias is striking. It's absolutely striking with this shit. Like, oh no, you can. It's also following along the same logic of rules for thee, not for me. No, you can't trust observations that we were able to do back in like the 1980s, the 1990s, when it comes to mapping out the positions of the stars, and that mapping getting more and more accurate and more refined as time goes on, with more improving technology, more telescopes looking at the sky and so on and stuff like that. But, you know, people back, 2000 fucking years ago that actually did blood fucking sacrifices because they know that Orion, a star in Orion's belt, intersects the horizon at 1 degree of true east. Yeah, they had their shit together. You can trust them, but you can't trust the fact that we say the exact same thing, but with a fuck ton more accuracy. You can't trust us, but you can trust that shit. You can trust them, people that have been dead for 2,000 fucking years. It's almost as if they believe that we haven't improved in our understanding of where the astronomical bodies are, and that we haven't improved the tools that we use to make those maps in the fucking first place. It's like everything stopped with, like with Bev, everything stopped at Euclid. There's been no advancement since then. Fuck calculus, right?
He didn't even have to go towards calculus. I really think this guy would have ran had you just started mentioning the basic trigonometry of what you can do with the information from these observations.
Yeah, I'm like, it was an example would be talking to him and getting him to understand literally the fucking basics, to the point where I had to break out the fucking crayons for this guy. I had to break out the fucking crayons. And keep in mind, I enunciate the word, this is an assumption. This is for the sake of argument. Just accept these values as I'm giving it, not because they reflect anything to do with an actual fucking star. This is just an example. Follow along with that. Well, how do you know that? How do you know they're really that distance? Oh, for fuck's sake, can you follow along, you dumb shit? I literally broke out the fucking crayons for you. And this is the response I'm fucking getting. Like, holy fuck. At some point, but it's like, okay, let me just get to a different point. Let me just get to a different fucking point, because holy fucking shit. But I tried to explain to him, and the example I'll give is like, it was like removing the stink from a lump of shit with an empty can of Febreze. That's what that last hangout was.
Yeah, no, just hold Olympus shit from the clean side. Anyway, no, this guy, he no, he didn't get it. That to chart the sky, you're looking for the angles between the stars. That's astrometry, and he had no idea what that was, none. And he didn't know that that's all that was relevant to establish parallax. You don't need to know the distance to that, to that celestial body.
Yep, that's what we kept trying to fucking tell him.
He couldn't get it. He couldn't get it. Also, plus he had the V'ger disconnect.
He also kept bringing up the inverse square law, not understanding that the inverse square law applies to point light sources, and the sun is not a point light source. Fucking Christ, guys. Listen, Flurfs, a tip from the top. Drop the inverse square law if you don't understand it. Please. You're making yourself look like an asshole.
It would be a wonderful thing if they dropped talking about everything that they don't understand. It means they would finally shut the fuck up.
Yeah. What they don't understand could fill a book.
So here's what I'm gonna do. That intro was fucking awful. So I'm gonna put it to the live chat. I need you to get to your keyboards. Answer this question for me. I think the intro is absolute cringe. I think it's horrible. I think it's just, I think it's cringy as fuck. Should I keep it on there, or should I cut that shit out so we get right to the conversation?
No, it's got your logo on the upper right. I'm going to answer the question for them.
It really did frame and explain a lot after I went to see it, but yeah, feel free to take it the fuck out.
Yeah, it was super fucking cringe. I mean, while it is true that a shitload of really valid points could be made, I don't feel as though it is needed, because those same points can be made by watching the actual conversation, by listening to the actual conversation. It's just super fucking cringe. Like,
it gives some insight. Like later, like when he talked about daylight being different from sunlight, you knew that he's got a whole fucking other world where he forays into that, and then,
motherfucker talked about Narnia. Dude is in Narnia.
So,
except now, Jared, remind me, Narnia, you got to Narnia in the movies through a fucking closet door or some shit?
Through the wardrobe.
Through the wardrobe. Okay. He enters his Narnia through his ass.
That's believable.
Yes. You're talking, we always say, oh, you have your head up your ass. Oh no. This dude completed the transition. However that fucking works. This dude cracked the portal problem, and he did it with his ass into his own version of Narnia, where you can make the statement sunlight different than daylight and not be looked at with a confused fucking look that makes you wonder, what did I do to deserve this? What did I do that I deserve this punishment of having to listen to this dumb shit?
Yeah, but for most people, head up your ass is an aversion. For him, it's a destination.
Oh God. So yeah, let me go ahead and bring this up just to kind of bring it through. All right, Dougie D says, keep it, shows his headspace. Shows his headspace is, yeah, so shows where his headspace is, I believe is what the sentence was trying to say. Yes, it does. It really, really does. I mean, it shows conclusively. Oh, there it is. There is a correction right there. Shows where his headspace is. Yes, it shows conclusively that the dude is like fully, deeply invested within the fucking rabbit hole being, a legitimate place to be. The dude is into the conspiracy. conspiratard fucking thing. You know, he's the type of guy to say that global warming isn't real and that vaccines cause autism, even though they fucking don't. He's that kind of guy. I can see him being that kind of guy.
That's the early stages. He was a flat earther waiting to happen.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's like, how do you know a guy is on a path to becoming a flurf? Does he believe that vaccines cause autism? Does he believe that global warming is somehow a conspiracy by Big Lithium or some shit like that? Yeah, he's you hear that shit, you know he's on his way to becoming a fucking flurf. But yeah, it does, but you gotta keep in mind it is super fucking cringe. And you can arrive at the same conclusion as to where his headspace is by listening to the actual conversation. My mom bakes cakes says we like cringe. Well, when you put it like that, I see spin cringe factor 10. Dude, you're being conservative. You're being very, very fucking conservative. So,
but it goes up to 11.
It goes up to 11. Yes, it's not just cringe, it's super cringe. Vadim says at Res Rhetoric, cut the meme fest. Yeah, you could make a shit ton of memes with the fucking shit they put in this fucking intro. Here's another question.
This intro was nothing but memes.
Yep. You can make memes with the fact that his intro was nothing but memes. But this is another thing that I've said to I've shat on Jaronism for this, and now I'm going to shit on him from this. What's the fucking deal with flat earthers making their intros like fucking 2 minutes long or some shit like that? My intro is 7 seconds. That's all that's needed. And on my fucking live streams, I don't even put a fucking intro into the bitch.
You know, I could make a comment about how you always finish prematurely, but man, that's overrated.
Is it though? Is it? Do it. Anyway, he's hung up on known values because his wife always says, I don't think that's...
Oh.
Can you use hung and six in the same sentence?
I would say in that context you can.
Oh, fucking Christ, Dave. You spent $5 on that shit. You fucking mad lad.
Fucking well played.
Oh, god damn. We'll go. Let's be kind and say that's not what he meant by that. We'll be kind. We'll be kind. I got to be kind here. Do I though? Do I really have to be kind? Fuck it. I'll be kind. Just this one time though. I'll promise not to make it a fucking habit. Yeah, that was hilarious, Dave. That has got to be the best $5 super chat ever. Thank you so much. God damn it. Fuck. You know, Dave.
No, it's already been said in the chat by IC Spin, who had another good one earlier too. Fucking legend, Dave.
Oh god. If I was like drinking soda or something or water or whatever, it came out my nose. Oh god. Yeah, IC Spin says I'm gonna share that. Legend. Yes. Legend has it that Dave broke Reds. Fucking did. Excellent. This is why I love you guys so much. You guys are fucking great. Love it. Oh god. Anyway. Okay. Whew. And reset. Take a deep breath. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're gonna move on. We're gonna continue on. So I do want to say once again that you guys were troopers in the last live chat. Again, I apologize for not getting to all of the super chats. On my next live stream, I will read them so that I, make sure you guys didn't waste your fucking money. Don't know when the live stream is going to be. It's whenever I can find a flat earther to actually come on board. But I went on this guy's channel, which was probably not the best idea, given the fact that I know for a fact now that he fucked with my audio, which is typical. Typical Flurf. But yeah. So the next debate or show that happens on this channel, I will read the super chats there. I don't want you guys to have wasted your fucking money on that shit. So I probably should have, now that I think about it, I probably should have just stated outright that, yes, not only is this stream being piped in from a different channel, but I will not be able to read the super chats. Probably should have said that now that I think back on it. But you live and learn, I guess. Oh yeah, here's a good one. Oh, Oakley's Q audio tampering. Yeah, exactly. Oakley does the same shit. People often ask me, why don't you go on to Nathan Oakley's stream? Because that's the reason why. Because he pulls shit like this all the fucking time. Now, and here's the thing, he will just overrun people by talking over them, and he will mute you so he can continue to talk over you. You can't get a word in fucking edgewise. Now, I love the fact that he shat on Bev, because seeing two fucking morons go at each other's throat, that was entertaining as shit. That was popcorn galore type moments right there. That was excellent.
I missed it.
Oh, don't worry, it's recorded. You'll have to watch it. Just fair warning. Prepare to laugh. It is hilarious. So, but I don't want that shit to happen when I'm talking to him. If he's going to get his ass royally handed to him, he's going to be there to take the fucking beating, whether he wants it or not. So, there's a big if I debate him, it will be on a channel he does not control. And 82, I think that's pretty reasonable, right? I'm not being unfair with that, right?
Oh no, asking for it to be where he doesn't have the mute button is the only way to make sure that the entire commentary is actually heard. There is another person out there who behaves in an oddly similar way that should also be given the same ultimatum, which actually kind of has, which is why keeps running back and forth between platforms, and that would be Darth Dawkins.
Oh, I forgot that motherfucker even exists.
Yeah, he's been going back and forth between Discord and Clubhouse because he keeps getting kicked out of places because of his behavior.
Yeah, I can imagine. That dude is a special kind of disingenuous fuck. So, no real surprise there. It's kind of like, yeah.
It's funny to see Christians go balls deep on a proclaimed Christian. I find things like that just immensely hilarious.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start wrapping this shit up. This was a good after show. Thank you guys for coming on. Thoughts by Jay Brown was like, what did I miss? Oh boy. Oh fucking boy. Where to fucking start?
Okay. Well, I think to end it, we should answer Karen B's unkempt Bush's question. But the question is, who wants to answer it?
I will not address that, Bush. That's
What? You don't feel like
I love
cosplaying
the
as
name. I love the
Sasquatch for a
name
while?
because unkempt rhymes with contempt, which is really all I have for Karen B.
Let me bring this. Are we talking about
to her
this?
several times. Anyway,
Yes, that's the question.
go ahead.
Did Reds explain the sudden end of the show? Now, just to be clear, she's referring to the part where the douchebag fucking kicked me from the show because I called him a dumbass because he was being a dumbass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that was feature burnout.
Well,
he masqueraded as he was feigning, offense. Please.
Yeah, he said he had to go, but I was just keeping that motherfucker going.
He was the first to break his own rules. Go, oh, this is a neutral ground, civilized territory. Boom. He was the first one that got all tempered.
You're a fucking liar.
Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly.
Come on. Yeah.
He was the first one to do it. It follows the old rules for thee, but not for me bullshit.
Also, he didn't know what he was getting into. He knows you from Twitter, right? How much conversation did you have before this?
The amount of conversation I had with him before this was maybe 5 or 6 tweets because I literally have never heard of this guy before.
Yeah, and he obviously never heard of you because he referred you. Oh, you can follow him on Twitter, I guess. But he didn't know.
I don't think he's ever heard of me.
He didn't know the can of ass whooping he just opened.
No, he really didn't. He didn't know that that I have actually done the observations. I don't go to NASA for my arguments. That I'm able to back my shit up. He didn't know who he was fucking with on this one. He didn't know that he was talking to a flat Earth debunking veteran.
he thought you were some noob on Twitter.
Yep. Exactly.
But,
he didn't fucking understand that dude, you're fucking with the OG flat Earth debunker here, okay? So don't even fuck with that shit.
The guy who invented Jeranism.
The guy who invented Jeranism.
The guy who made Jeranism, man.
I got to find that fucking hangout. Unfortunately, I know the channel it's on, but every single video is 8 hours long, and there's hundreds of them.
Oh God!
I gotta fucking find that.
That was back in the early days of Earth debates, Earth discussions, and FED.
The Google Hangouts.
Yeah,
that was Google Hangouts. That was Google Hangouts when you could stream directly from Google Hangouts, and you didn't. Yeah, that was even before the sniping flaw that came to existence in there. Before we all realized that they were full of shit, and so did YouTube. So they just dropped the entire fucking project.
Wait. I have the perfect thought to end this on, since we want to kind of call it night, because I know Reds and I, we have to fucking work in the morning.
I do, yeah. Unfortunately, I have that job thing.
Think about this. The three of us here on the panel, we've been dealing with these fuckwits for 7 years.
We're breaking records, man. We're breaking fucking records. And we have many of face palms to prove it. I mean, it's what a world we find ourselves in. All right, guys. So here's the game plan.
I remember the first night I heard about flat Earth, and my face and my desk were never the same.
the Earth shifted just a little when you found out about that. So anyway, here's how it's going to work. This after show is going to be linked in the description of the original restream. So on my channel, if you go to the description, you will find this after show. That's how you're going to find it on my channel. Go to the original video in the description, you'll find this one. I will go ahead and leave the intro on the video, unfortunately, because while I do maintain that it's 100% cringe, I also have to agree that it does an excellent job showing his mental state. even though I believe that doesn't need any assistance from his intro, it is still good to have. So I'm going to leave the intro in, and it's going to be absolutely painful for my audience. But the good news is that you can skip past that shit. Just use the slider that YouTube gives you. Utilize that shit. Please, I fucking beg you. But the dude will not be able to claim that I edited anything. So the stream is going to remain as it is, untouched, intro and everything. I apologize, but I will make that disclaimer very, very known, both in a pinned comment and in the description. That is not my fucking intro. That this is a restream. I was not in control of this fucking shit show. He was. So that's the reason I couldn't, screen share whenever the fuck I wanted. That's the reason my audio was fucked with. And that's the reason you have a dumbass fucking intro like that shit playing at the fucking beginning. I'll make that very fucking clear. And I wonder if I can also put in like no, that's what I'll do. In the pinned comment, I'll also put a time code where you can just skip the fucking intro shit. Make it easy for you guys.
Can you get a banner to scroll along the bottom? Not my fucking intro.
Not my fucking intro. Yeah, but if I did, I would have to take down the video, put that
And
edit
re-upload
in,
it, yeah.
and then re-upload it. And plus, if I do it that way, I would lose the live chat in the side.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to find the super chat so I can read them later on the next stream, because I do owe it to my viewers. So, yeah, that was a gigantic fucking clusterfuck, and I'm glad that everyone fucking enjoyed it. I guess we will use the word enjoy. It will be in quotes, and that is that. So, Astro Rex, say what you gotta say and get the fuck out.
All right. See you all in Australia for a total solar eclipse in April 2023.
Peace. All right, so let's go ahead and go to Jared AT2 Productions. Say what you gotta say and get the fuck out.
Oh, well, it's been a long time coming, but you know what? There's only one thing I have to say at this point, and that would be a hearty Sean Flynn.
I'm going to pretend to know what that translates to in English. I'm sure Geo will help me out with that in the comments below. So, guys, thank you for joining me on this shit show. It has been interesting, as Jeranism would say. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. It was fun. Peace out.